we remain distressed by the ongoing war on Gaza and by the chilling flashpoints of expansion that are being deployed on a daily basis. Only someone absolutely bereft of humanity would think that it is lawful and just and even godly to respond to atrocities committed on one awful day of terror by in turn committing atrocities after atrocities. How else are we to describe the killing of over 200 UN staff members, the highest death toll in United Nations history, and the deaths of tens of thousands of civilians, including women and children? And this is not being done in secret. The entire world is watching, and the Global South in particular is appalled. The question remains, if innocent civilians, including women, children, and United Nations staff, were being killed at this record rate in the developed world, how would the world's big powers have reacted? Not likely with euphemisms and platitudes. The double standards and continued resourcing of these ongoing violations of international law send a chilling message to the Global South. And that message is this: there are some powerful people in this world who are of the view that a Palestinian child is less worthy of defense, protection, food, water, and life than another child. I am not of that view. The people of my country are not of that view. CARICOM is not of that view. And decent people all over the world, including in Israel, are not of that view. International law is not a tool of mere convenience to be muted for friends and trumpeted against enemies. Mr. President, international law is not a tool of mere convenience to be muted for our friends and trumpeted against our enemies. In this regard, Trinidad and Tobago has joined the call for an immediate, full, and complete ceasefire, and for the unconditional release of every single hostage. The truth is, there is no military solution to this conflict, as peace will only be achieved through negotiations in good faith and constructive dialogue among all concerned parties. Trinidad and Tobago has consistently expressed our support for a two-state solution where Israelis can live without the daily threat of terror and Palestinians can live without the daily weight of occupation, coexisting side by side as responsible members of the international community. We firmly believe that this is the only credible pathway to end this cycle of violence, culminating in the establishment of a sovereign and peaceful state of Palestine alongside a sovereign and peaceful state of Israel within secure borders. Rooted in this belief, Trinidad and Tobago took the decision to recognize the state of Palestine in our contribution to the two-state solution and in support of the legitimate aspirations of the Palestinian people for self-determination. I can report that just 6 days ago, Trinidad and Tobago and the State of Palestine officially established diplomatic relations. We look forward to the day when the State of Palestine would be welcomed to take its seat in the General Assembly as a full member of the United Nations. Mr. President, I now turn to the issue affecting the International Criminal Court. Despite its detractors, the evidence before us clearly shows the value and effectiveness and necessity of the International Criminal Court. As a country that advocated for the establishment of the ICC via the tireless work of our former Prime Minister and President, A.N.R. Robinson, Trinidad and Tobago remains resolute in our support of the court's mandate to help put an end to impunity for the perpetrators of the most heinous crimes and to provide a glimmer of hope to all victims of those crimes seeking justice within the jurisdiction of the court. To this end, we continue to encourage all states that have not yet done so to ratify and fully implement the Rome Statute of the ICC. It was the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. who once said, "It is not possible to be in favor of justice for some people and not be in favor of justice for all people." For this reason, Mr. President, Trinidad and Tobago condemns, rejects, and repudiates any and all attempts to impede, intimidate, or improperly influence the court and its very courageous officials. Mr. President, we are mindful that the illicit trafficking in small arms and light weapons in our own region poses an intolerable threat to national security and to the lives of our citizens. The proliferation of illegal arms and ammunition has contributed to unacceptable increases in the level of gun-related violence and fatalities in our small society and indeed across CARICOM. In addition to our own efforts domestically, we continue to work with regional and international partners to free our citizens from the horrific human cost associated with the easy access to small arms and light weapons and their vicious use against citizens and families. Following the hosting by Trinidad and Tobago of our first regional symposium on crime and violence as a public health safety issue in 2023, CARICOM heads met in Guyana earlier this year to further elaborate innovative strategies on this matter of grave regional concern.